safer in the air. You do go through more turmoil in riding an airplane than you do riding in an automotive production. For when you are boarding an airplane, this is what they do. They ask you to show your ID to produce your identity. But now if you notice, with a high level of authenticity, they only ask you to produce, register your ID when you're getting ready to take off. But it's amazing. They never ask you for your ID when you're about to land. You great scholars, great thinkers, college graduates, tell me why. Let me give you the replication, which means the response. Here is the answer. You're not required to give your ID when you're coming down, because it does not matter who you are. But when you're making preparation to take off, it's most important to know who you're flying with. I suppose what I'm really trying to activate into realism is, in this present existence, people, when your life is getting ready to take off for the better, it's urgent, it's potent, it's most important that you know who you are rolling with in this life. Because after all, people, turkeys just don't hang out with chickens. Donkeys just don't hang out with Kentucky Derby thoroughbreds. Dogs don't hang out with cats, lions don't hang out with sheep, cats don't hang out with mouses, and fear doesn't hang out with faith. In the identical, in the diametric perspective, in other words, diametrically speaking, opposed to the contrary of what the news network, in opposition of what the news channels have proposed. All of the TV channels that carry our news, CNN, MSNBC, CSNBC, BBC, Fox News, they are of the opinion. Matter of fact, CNN 7.5 months ago said that nearly 99% of plane crashes, plane wrecks, do not produce survivors. But I would come, being a frequent flyer myself, I've come to repudiate and serve as a disclaimer to this claim.
Right.
There are plane crashes that produces a certain percentage of survival. Somebody do walk away from the wreckage. And just as there are survivors of plane wrecks, I've come to put you on high alert that there are also as well survivors of life wrecks. Well, as a matter of fact, I'm looking tonight in the faces of many people, both pulpit and pew, who have survived multiple numbers of life wrecks. Now, the people who live about you, they really can't validate these wrecks. Why? Because you have managed to stay in check after the wreck. In other words, you really don't look like what you have come through. I don't know if there's somebody in this room tonight. I don't know who you are, but you'll survive unemployment in life. But you survive. Many of you laid off, but you still survive. Some of you even lost your job in its totality, but you still survive. There are some of you, I'm looking at you, some of you, I just like the feeling, you have survived a bitter divorce. Many of you survived your heart being broken by the very one you really loved. Many of you, I can still hear you crying out with Mrs. Glory Gaynor of the past. Even when your mate thought you would never survive without them. Look like I can still hear you singing in the lyrics and rhythmic beat and tempo of Gloria Gaynor. I will survive. Look like I can still hear you saying, first I was afraid and petrified. I kept thinking I could never live without you by my side. And then I spent so many nights thinking how you did me wrong. And I discovered later that I was wrong, but I learned now how to get along. So now you're back from outer space. I just walked in to find that sad look upon your face. I should have changed that stupid lock. I should have made you leave that key if I knew you was going to return to bother me. So go on, just walk on out that door. Cause you're not welcome here anymore. You are the one who tried to hurt me with that goodbye. You thought I would crumble. You thought I would just lay down and die. No, not I will. As long as I know how to love, I know I will stay alive, but I got all my life to live. I got so much love to give. I will survive. I will survive. It took all the strength I had not to really fall apart. I kept trying to mend all the pieces to my broken heart. I stayed up so many nights feeling sorry for myself. Oh yes, I used to cry, but now I hold my head up high. And now you see me, somebody new. I'm not that changed up little person that is still in love with you. So you feel like dropping in, not expecting me to be free, but now I'm giving all my love to someone else who's loving me. So just walk on out that door. You're not welcome here anymore. You tried to hurt me with that goodbye. You thought I'd come and lay down and die. No, I will survive. High five your neighbor, say I will survive. No matter what I need, I will survive. Your mind's a little bit closer. You're kind of easing away from me. A little bit closer. Your mind's a little closer. And I'm through. It's been good being with you. The FAA. 3 years ago, released a warning publication telling us what to do to survive a plane crash.
Yeah.
They say your survivability goes up by 40% based on where you are sitting on the plane.
Right.
They give us this present data that if you're sitting at the back of the plane, then you have much greater percentage of surviving the wreck. I'm trying to say something now. I'm serious. Could I be saying that God is really not punishing many of us by giving us, at times, a back seat in this life?
All right.
People of the cross tonight, it could very well be why God at this time is not favoring many of us with upfront seats in this life. Because it could very well be that the sovereign God is really trying to reward many of us with his protectivity. It could very well be that God is not allowing us upfront seats because he knows in his infinite wisdom that many of us are not mentally and spiritually prepared for the attack that Satan inflicts upon upfront without knowledge at best. It could very well mean, people, why many of us is yet sitting on the back seat of life is simply because the everlasting God could be thinking that many of us just not ready to experience the terrible crash or the great wreck that upfront people experience in this life.
Yeah.
You do know upfront people, whenever there is a crash or a wreck, upfront people get it first.
Yeah. Right. Yeah.
I don't know this to be sure, don't quote me. I don't know this to be a guarantee. I don't know. But it just could be that many of you are sitting in back seats right now and not being recognized, not now, by the front of your church.
All right.
It's all because God has positioned you there so your breakthrough can really break through. This is what you all know. The back position, never forget this, the back position, people, is just important as the front placement. Now you do know a proper made chair has a front and a back. You are not up to city code on the house with on the front door and not a
Yes, sir.
I'm trying to find a coin, but you know what a coin looks like. Every coin has a head and a tail.
Yeah.
Every automotive mechanism has a front and a back.
Yeah.
A watch is not complete without a back.
Right.
When you look at the human body, you need your back.
Yeah.
You see, the back part of your body is the part of the body that is opposite to the stomach and chest, The back is that part of the human structure that extends from the neck to the spine. And without your back, you couldn't sit down or sit up properly. You need your back, but you need your front. Because through the front is where the reproduction of human life is produced. But from your back is where the impurities of your body moves out. Because your back part, brethren, never forget this, don't get it mixed up, is an exit and not an entrance. You're is not a bad position to be stabilized. I don't know, but we have many of you are surviving. Those in the back of your church now, not being recognized by the front. Maybe you're surviving quite well and being blessed quite often because you are now contented with your backseat position for now. Because that's all. Many of you care less about being in the circle of the hierarchy of the church right now. Many of you come to church, you care less about being in the clique of the church. You come to church, you care less where you are in the number of the pastor 20 most needed members of the church. You care less of whether or not the pastor see you, call your name, or shake your hand. Matter of fact, many of us are quite happy in being backseat members for now. That's why many of you come to church late and always sit in the back. Because you know you ain't quite ready yet to be an upfront member, not yet. So that's all you know, that upfront people are talked about as the pastor's flunky. Upfront people are easy targets for the demonic snipers. Upfront people are quite often misused and always get accused and abused. And you know you ain't quite ready for that yet, because you know you haven't quite forgotten all the curse words you used to say. You ain't ready for that. Not yet. So for now, you are contented with your backseat position. Now, so right now, all you want to do is come to church, pay your tithes, get your praise on, do all you can to promote the kingdom of God, and then go home to your own business and leave other people's business alone, and hoping badly that other people will leave you the hell alone. Unshakably sure and vividly aware that when God get through pruning you, everlasting God get through working on you, fixing you and preparing you and maturing you, then you know according to in the social and spiritual realm will become your front position. Because after all, you already know that the Bible said the first shall be last, and the last shall be first. So for now, you decided to be faithful over these few things because you know it won't be long before God will make you ruler over many things. My time is up, people. I've enjoyed yours. Got to make preparation to catch the staring bird. Move back to the sin of the wind. Let me close this. Let me put a frame around this picture. And then I want to put a praise on it. Then we out of here. In this pericope, which means in this text, Paul the Apostle, in 67 AD, he has now returned back to Jerusalem. He has been giving the gospel to the Gentiles over in Asia Minor. Asia Minor, which was known as Pergamos at that time, we know it today as the country of Turkey. Asia Minor, located on the Italian Peninsula, north of the Black Sea, south of the Mediterranean waters, west of the Aegean Basin, between the Gulf of Alexandria on the Mediterranean coast where you can look over and see parts of the Armenian highland and the upper Mesopotamia. He has been here in this rectangle on the European continent, a long way from home, preaching the gospel to the Gentile world. Because his desire that all humankind be saved and hear the gospel of Jesus Christ. But then to the contrary, his Jewish colleagues, the Jewish nation, felt that every other nation on earth who was a Gentile should have a death sentence to hell, because every other nation on earth was ceremonial unclean. They had never identified themselves with circumcision. So therefore, in the eyes of God, the Gentile world to the Jews was considered unclean. So this would mean that every unclean individual could not stand before a holy God. So Paul has been given the mission to preach to those Gentiles so they can become clean and enter into the presence of a holy God. But the Jews didn't like this. Here they are. When this text has been given birth to, Paul is now in the temple of a holy God. He's giving his report to the Jews in the temple of Jerusalem. As he had returned home, he is in the temple while celebrating the feast day, participating in this Nazarite vow. The Jews heard him talk about where he has been. Jews heard him talk about how many Gentiles have now entered under the umbrella of Christianity. They're upset. They're mad. In hostility and enraged, they gave birth to lies and spat that deadly venom of accusation on Paul. And these pious Jews, they found it. They didn't quit until they had him arrested by the Roman government. Paul faced many trials while here in Palestine. After standing before those 72 judges of the Jewish culture called the Sanhedrin Council, after standing before Felix and his wife Priscilla, after appearing before Festus, after having his case heard before King Agrippa and his wife Bernice, the Jews knew they could not pronounce a sentence on him because Paul had dual citizenship. He was a Jew and a Roman. And he prevailed. He said, I don't want to have my trial. I don't want my trial here in Jerusalem. Give me my chance. I'm a Roman citizen. Give me my chance to stand trial before Caesar. Let him predict my innocence or guilt. It wasn't very long, people, for they made preparation. They had 276 prisoners headed to Rome. They said, well, I will put you on this ship. They put him on this Egyptian vessel. But before they set sail, Paul says to the captain, Julius in charge of the vessel, don't sail. I have an intuition, something's going to happen. The weather is not favorable. They went on. They sailed on. They sailed on. While cascading the Mediterranean waters, head to Rome, the ship encountered great turbulence. A great storm arisen out on the sea. Sky got blacker than 1,000 midnights. Thunder rolled like 2,000 chariot wheels out on distant battlefield. Lightning went skipping up and down the spectrum of the sky. The billows began to toss mighty high. Waves became quite contrary. Ship ran into a wind called Euroclydon that rocked the ship from side to side, reeling and rocking. But Paul said to the captain, while the prisoners were nervous, we're going to die, we're going to die. Paul says, hold it. Sir, tell everybody on board. The ship is going to wreck. But there'll be no loss of life on this ship. An angel appeared unto me. Told me to tell everybody, stay in check after the wreck. So we fine. It did happen. The ship wrecked. But everybody stayed in check.
Come on now.
Some swam to shore. Or made it to shore broken pieces. After letting down 4 acres, the wrecked ship finally landed on the shore of an island called Malta. Malta today, one of the most religious cities on the European continent. After remaining in Malta for some time, the weather became favorable for them to sail on to Rome. They went on to Rome, and the good news is everybody got to Rome safe, because Paul said, stay in check after the wreck. I'll see you, Columbus. Go in the rectangle. I love you. Thank God for you. Hallelujah. For I leave you, I can't forget. There's another wreck. It shut up the world over 2,000 years ago. Has thou not heard? Has thou not known the great wreck that Jesus endured in a place called Calvary? Look what happened during the wreck. After whipping Jesus all night long, after sending to excruciating thorn with plagues on his head, after being strapped repeatedly, after being stoned, there at Calvary that Friday, they nailed his hand and riveted his feet. They hung him high and stretched him wide, dropped him low, thrust the spear in his side by the space of a half an hour. My God, what a wreck. All during the wreck, Jesus stayed in check. He cried out, Father, forgive them. They know not what they do. He cried Father, into thy hand I commend my spirit. He hung his head, and the locks of his shoulder, bleeding in pain and in agony. There on the cross, he died, my God, for a terrible wreck. He took him down, laid him in the tomb. Everybody thought that Jesus would never make it back from this wreck. The wreck was so bad until Jesus was hidden in the wreckage for 2 long days and 2 long nights. But on the 3rd day morning, God the Father cut him out of the wreckage, got him out of the wreckage, raised him up from the wreckage, and to prove after the wreck that Jesus was still in check. Jesus stood by the wreckage, standing on resurrection turf, crying out, I've been through the wreck, but I'm still in check. All power in heaven and on earth is in my hand. I am he that will get it, but now I live forevermore. But then I wanted to sit down after I told you about that wreck. I've told you about 2 wrecks now, but please, y'all, don't let me go home without telling you about one more wreck. How well do I remember when my life collided with sin and evil. Oh, I can't forget when I bumped into the devil. I had a wreck with the demonic. Young, that collision was the greatest wreck